Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. This is IMAX Sports with another football video, and today is episode 8 of the NFL 100 list video series. I've been doing this series for 8 weeks now, and we're nearing the end. We're going through number 30 through 21 this week, and as I've been saying the past few weeks, as the players get better and better, the decisions are harder and harder to make as to where to put each player. So some of these players could be a little higher or a little lower than they should be on the list, but either way, I think that it's a pretty solid list, and hope you guys enjoy. Okay guys, so starting off this week at number 30, we have Joey Bosa. Joey Bosa this season had 1 pass defended, 7.5 sacks, 39 tackles, and 15 tackles for loss. Number 3 in the league for tackles for loss. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler, a 4-time NFL 100 team recipient, and he was number 34 in 2020. He only played 12 games this year. He only started 10. And he had a slightly off season for stats, but I guess anyone's going to have an off season for stats when they play 10 games. He still made the Pro Bowl. He still had a phenomenal season. And I think that next year he's going to go off with a full 17 games in 2021. At 29, we have Darius Smith. Darius Smith had 2 passes defended, 4 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 12.5 sacks, 52 tackles, and 12 tackles for a loss. He was number 3 in sacks this season, number 4 in forced fumbles. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler, and he was 2020 NFL 100 team selection at number 48. This year, he's had 26 sacks in the past 2 seasons, and he's quickly growing to be one of the most dominant forces in the NFL. Darius Smith has consistently gotten great pressure on the defense. Last season he had 13.5 sacks. This season he had 12.5 sacks. And he's just a young player that's doing phenomenally well for himself. And I think he's going to continue to do well for himself on this type of trajectory. Joey Bosa is a defensive end, and Darius Smith, I believe, is an outside linebacker. So I just wanted to clarify that because I don't think I mentioned Joey Bosa. At number 28, we have quarterback Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott in 2020 had completed 151 of 222 passes for 1,856 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. And he had 371 yards per game before the season ended. He was on track for somewhere in the realm of 6,000 yards. Not that he was going to get that, but he easily would have had a 5,000-yard season had he finished out the year. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler appearance and 2-time NFL 100 team recipient at number 14 and number 46. The number 14 was in 2017 after his amazing 2016 season, and the 46 was just last year. He missed 11 games of the 2020 season, or 11 and some change, due to injury, and I think that Dak is just getting started. I think that his career, he's still a young quarterback. He's still a very young quarterback. He hasn't gotten into his career too far yet, and seeing what we saw at the start of last year, I think that he's going to continue to be an amazing quarterback for this Dallas offense, and the Cowboys should be able to win the division with Dak Prescott at quarterback, because their defense is the biggest issue, but I think that Dak is going to help them step up their game a little bit for next year. At number 27, we have Quinton Nelson. Quinton Nelson's an offensive guard. There's not much to be said here. He's played 3 seasons, he has 3 Pro Bowls, and he has 3 All-Pros. He was on the NFL 100 team last year. He was ranked number 29. And enough said. Quinton Nelson's a beast. He is the best offensive lineman in the league. He's probably going to finish his career as one of the best offensive linemen at all times if he continues to be this dominant. So, that's Quinton Nelson. At number 26, we have George Kittle. George Kittle's a tight end for the San Francisco 49ers. And this season he had 48 catches for 634 yards and 2 touchdowns. He played 8 games. He's a 2-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro, 2-time NFL 100 team selection at number 29 and number 7. Those were in 2019 and 2020. And he missed half of the season, but he still put up good yards. A lot of other tight ends barely put up 600 yards. I think that Darren Waller and Travis Kelce were the only 2 tight ends that put up over 800 on the season. and George Kittle put up 634 in 8 games. He would have been second in the league for tight ends for yards that he finished up the year. He could have potentially been first because some of those games that he had 70, 80 yards, he was injured during. So if he had a healthy season, and he has a healthy season next year, then he could go off with Travis Kelce, and I'd love to see it. I would love to see George Kittle have an amazing comeback year. So right now, because of his injury, he's at number 26. He could definitely go back up to top 20 or top 10 next year, though. On the back half of this week's list, we have Khalil Mack at number 25. Khalil Mack is an outside linebacker, and this year he had 1 interception, 3 passes defended, 3 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 9.5 sacks, 50 tackles, and 11 tackles for a loss. He's a 6-time Pro Bowler and a 3-time All-Pro in his 8 NFL seasons. He made the NFL 100 team 6 times at number 49, 13, 5, 16, 3, and 19. And he was not as dominant this year as he's been in other years, but he's still a top player in the NFL. He still had a fantastic season. 9.5 sacks is nothing to scoff at, especially when everyone's numbers were lowered a little bit this year. He still had 3 passes defended, 3 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, and Khalil Mack is going to continue to be a dominant linebacker in the NFL. I think the next year he's going to come back and he's going to have a season even stronger. He might even make first team All-Pro for his first time in the 3 years. So, Khalil Mack, I have at number 25. At number 24, we have Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey this season had 1 interception, 9 passes defended, 44 tackles, 2 tackles for a loss, and a quarterback rating when targeted of 68.1. He's a 4-time All-Pro appearance, 4-time Pro Bowl appearance, 2-time All-Pro, including this season. 3-time NFL 100 team selection at number 17, 27, and 37 in 2018, 2019, 2020. And although his stats were lowered this year, cornerback is the one position where stats are the most arbitrary. Cornerback position is the hardest one to gauge a player's ability based off of their stats because there's so many different factors. You can be put up against stronger wide receivers. You can have more snaps. You can have more routes that you're covering. There's so many different factors in a quarterback's stats and their ability to get picks and passes defended that it's very hard to gauge which stats are most important and how they even relate to each other. So Jalen Ramsey, his stats were lower this season, but he's still a phenomenal player, and he's one of the best corners in the league. At number 23 was Stephan Diggs. Stephan Diggs this season had 127 catches for 1,535 yards and 18 touchdowns. He was number 1 in yards, number 1 in receptions, and number 2 in yards per game. He was a 1-time Pro Bowler and 1-time All-Pro, both of those being this season. And he had a phenomenal season and will hopefully continue pulling these numbers next year. He had great seasons with Minnesota, but he never had a Pro Bowl season. He never had a Pro Bowl selection year before. This year, he came to Buffalo. He got a good quarterback in Josh Allen, and he went off. He had a crazy year. 1,500 yards is a lot. So I think that Stephan Diggs is going to continue to be one of the strongest wide receivers in this league. So I have him at number 23. Number 22, we have Devin White. Devin White's this season he had 4 passes defended, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, and 9 sacks, as well as 140 tackles and 15 tackles for loss. So the first thing I want to mention here, inside linebackers don't get 9 sacks. Okay, Brian Urlacher, Ray Lewis, both those guys, amazing careers, very strong inside linebacker. They're the best inside linebackers of the last 20 years, if not of all time, especially Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis and Brian Urlacher, neither of them ever had 9 sacks. The closest either of them got, Brian Urlacher had 8 one season. Inside linebackers don't get 9 sacks, and they especially don't get them when they have 140 tackles and 97 solo tackles. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, he was number 5 in the league for tackles, 3 for tackles for loss, and 3 for solo tackles. So that has to count for something. Playoffs, he played 3 games in the playoffs. He had 2 interceptions, 2 passes defended, 2 fumble recoveries, 3 tackles for a loss, and 38 total tackles. He averaged 13 tackles per game in his 3 playoff games. And he had as many passes defended and fumble recoveries as many other middle linebackers in the entire season. He was a major Pro Bowl snub in 2020, and in 2021, I think he's going to be an All-Pro player. He has the ability to be an All-Pro player. He was an All-Pro player this year, and next year he's going to get his accolades for what he deserves. Devin White, number 22. Last, but certainly not least on this list, is Julio Jones. Julio Jones is number 21 on my list, and actually I just put him in here at 21. I was flip-flopping between him and my number 3 wide receiver because my number 1 and 2 were solid, but my 3 and 4 I really couldn't decide between. The reason why I decided to put Julio at number 4 for wide receivers was just simply because he only played 9 games. This season, Julio had 51 catches for 777 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was number 7 in the league for yards per game at 86. 86 yards per game, surprisingly, is one of the lowest numbers of his career, because he is the number 1 of all time for yards per game at 96 career yards per game. He's a 7-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, and he has never missed a Pro Bowl where he's played 14 or more games in the year. His rookie season, he missed it. He played 13. A couple years later, he played 11 games and missed it, and this season he played 9 games and missed it. Every other year, he's consistently made the Pro Bowl, and whenever his touchdowns exceeded 4, he's made the first-team All-Pro. And he's had 7 NFL 100-team appearances. In 2013, he was number 26. And then since 2013, he's made it 6 years in a row in 2015 through 2020 at number 13, number 8, number 3, number 4, number 9, and number 11. I think that Julio has a serious shot at getting 2,000 yards in next year's 17-game season. We've never seen a 2,000-yard wide receiver before. Calvin Johnson came the closest at 1,964, I believe. But if anyone can get 2,000 yards, it would be Julio. Next year, we're going to have an extra game, so with 17 games, 2,000 yards will be more feasible. I believe the number will be 117 yards per game, and I think that Julio would have gotten it in one of the years of his career had he had 17 games. So I'm very curious to see how Julio does with a 17-game season. I hope he can stay healthy, and I really want to put him a little higher than this, but I think I have to put Julio Jones at number 21. So, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and smash subscribe if you are new to the channel. I post these videos every single week, and I say this every week, I'm going to try and get some more content out. I am very busy with homework. School will be over in about a month, so once school is over, I'll have more time to make videos. So I really appreciate all the support from you guys. I appreciate you guys sticking around. I hope you guys enjoy my content. And I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.